At least one son makes us proud. My dad raised his wine glass toward my brother Michael. The whole table erupted in applause. My mom beamed. My sister Amy whistled. Even the waiters smiled awkwardly before backing away. Michael stood up, straightening his Brooks Brothers suit. Thank you. VP of Strategic Operations. Who would have thought? He glanced at me. Just for a second. But I caught it. That smirk. The one he'd been giving me since we were kids. Some people, he continued, peak in high school. Others. He paused for effect. Others never peak at all. My mom reached over and squeezed my shoulder. Not the supportive kind. The disappointed kind. Jake, honey, when are you going to get a real job? You're almost 30. I looked down at my plate. Prime rib? $72. Times 8 people. Plus the wine. Plus the resort fees. Plus the 2 oceanfront suites I'd booked for the weekend. Funny you ask about real jobs, I said quietly. Because mine just paid for this entire weekend. My dad frowned. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone. Opened the receipt. Slid it across the white tablecloth. The resort. The rooms. This dinner. All of it. $12,400. Charged to my card last Tuesday. The table went silent. You could hear the ocean through the windows. Michael recovered first. Well, that's nice of you, Jake. Really. But spending money isn't the same as making it sustainably. I mean, what are you even doing these days? Still playing with video games in your apartment? Actually, I said, I sold my studio 3 months ago. Amy laughed. Your studio? You mean your bedroom? I smiled. No. I mean Foxlight Games, 5 employees, 12 indie titles, sold to Vertex Entertainment for $2.3 million. After taxes, I walked away with 1.6. My mother's wine glass stopped halfway to her lips. You're joking, Michael said. Nope. I pulled up the signed acquisition agreement on my phone, dated September 15th. Showed them the signature. The wire transfer confirmation. The congratulations email from the Vertex CEO. My father stared at the phone like it was written in a foreign language. You? He blinked. You made $2 million from video games? 2.3. But who's counting? I took a sip of water. I've been doing this for 7 years. Since I dropped out of community college. Remember when you said that was the worst decision I'd ever make? Silence. You never told us, my mom whispered. You never asked, I replied. Every time I tried to talk about my work, you changed the subject. Every family dinner, every holiday, every phone call. It was always, when are you going to be more like Michael? Why can't you get a stable job? Stop wasting your time. Michael cleared his throat. Okay, so you had one lucky break. Congratulations. But that doesn't change the fact that you've been living like a bum for years. You're right, I said. I drive a 2015 Honda Civic. I rent a 1-bedroom apartment in the suburbs. I shop at Target. Because I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I looked directly at Michael. Unlike some people who lease BMWs, they can't afford and wear suits that cost more than their monthly salary. His jaw tightened. What's that supposed to mean? Amy asked. It means, I said carefully, that I know about the loan request. Michael's face went pale. What loan request? Dad asked. I kept my eyes on Michael. 3 weeks ago. My brother sent me an email. Very polite. Very professional. Asked if I could lend him $50,000. Just a bridge loan, he said. For a real estate investment, promised to pay me back in 6 months. So, Michael said defensively, I was trying to involve you in an opportunity. I said no, I continued. Because I looked into this opportunity. It was a timeshare in Arizona. One of those deals that sounds amazing until you read the fine print. I sent you an article about how it was a known scam. Remember? Michael said nothing. Then, 2 days later, I said, I got a call from Dad. Asking why I was being so selfish. Why I wouldn't help my own brother. Telling me that family is supposed to support each other. My father shifted uncomfortably. At first, I didn't understand. I hadn't told you about Michael's request. But then, I realized. I turned to my dad. Michael came to you. Told you I'd refused him. Convinced you to pressure me into saying yes. That's not Michael started. It's exactly what happened, I said. And it worked, didn't it? I got 3 more calls. One from Mom, one from Amy. All of you telling me I was being selfish. That Michael needed this. That I should be grateful to have a brother who wanted to include me in his success. My mom looked at Michael. You told us Jake was being difficult. Because he was. Michael snapped. It was a good investment. He was too scared to. It was a scam, I interrupted. I forwarded you proof. You ignored it. And then you tried to manipulate our parents into guilting me. That's not manipulation, he said. That's family. I laughed. Actually laughed. Is it? Is that what family does? You don't understand, Michael said. His voice was getting louder. Defensive. I have expenses. I have a lifestyle to maintain. I can't just what? I asked. Can't just live within your means? Boys, my mom said. Please? Not here. But I wasn't done. Because something had been bothering me. Something about the way Michael reacted when Dad announced the promotion. Tell me something, Michael, I said. This VP position. When does it start? He blinked. What? Your promotion. To VP of Strategic Operations. When's your start date? It's in the works. They're finalizing the paperwork. Really? I tilted my head. Because I got a very interesting email last week. I pulled up my inbox. Found the message. The one that had been CC'd to me by mistake. From Michael's company. An internal HR memo. Subject line, I read aloud. Departmental restructuring and position adjustments. Sent to you and 40 other employees. Accidentally forwarded to me because I'm still in your contacts from when you asked me to design your website 4 years ago. Remember that? When you promised to pay me and then never did? Michael's face was red now. Jake. Don't. But I was already reading. Dear team. As part of our Q4 restructuring initiative, the following changes will take effect January 1st. Michael Chen, current senior analyst, will be transitioning to the role of associate analyst. I looked up. That's not a promotion, Michael. That's a demotion. The table was dead silent. Amy stared at our brother. You lied? It's temporary, Michael said quickly. It's just they're reorganizing. Everyone's taking a step back. It's not a real demotion. It comes with a 20% salary cut. I read. Effective immediately. My father set down his fork. Michael. Dad, I can explain. You lied to us, Dad said. You stood up at this table and accepted congratulations for something that didn't happen. I was going to tell you. Michael's voice cracked. I needed time. I needed to figure things out. I'm underwater on my car lease. I owe money on the apartment. If I'd told you the truth, we would have helped you, Mom said softly. If you'd been honest. Would you? Michael looked around the table. Would you really? Or would you have looked at me the same way you look at Jake? Like I'm a failure? The irony wasn't lost on anyone. I never called you a failure, I said. You called me that. For 7 years, every family gathering, every phone call. You made jokes about my job. You asked when I was going to grow up. You told people I was wasting my life. Because I thought you were. Michael shouted. I have an MBA from Stanford. I did everything right. I got the job, the promotions, the salary. And you dropped out of community college to make video games. How was I supposed to know you'd actually succeed? There it was. The truth. He hadn't believed in me. None of them had. You weren't supposed to know, I said quietly. You were supposed to support me anyway. My mom reached for my hand. Sweetie, we didn't mean. I pulled away. Gently. But firmly. You did mean it. All of you. Every time you changed the subject when I talked about my work. Every time you asked when I'd get a real job. Every time you compared me to Michael. I stood up. I paid for this weekend because I wanted to see if anything had changed. If maybe, after all these years, you'd be happy for me. Proud of me. But you're not. You're just shocked that I'm not the failure you expected. Jake, my father said. Sit down. We can talk about this. No, I said. We can't. Because I've tried talking. For years. And you never listened. I pulled out my wallet. Left $300 on the table. That should cover the rest of the weekend. The rooms are paid through Sunday. Enjoy them. Where are you going? Amy asked. Home, I said. To my 1-bedroom apartment. Where I've been building a life you never bothered to learn about. Michael stood up. Jake, come on, don't be dramatic. We're family. I looked at him. Really looked at him. At the designer suit he couldn't afford. At the Rolex that was probably fake. At the desperation in his eyes. You know what, Michael? I said. You asked me earlier if I thought I was better than you. He waited. No, I said. I don't think it. I know it. And I walked out. The drive home was quiet. 3 hours on I-95. I didn't turn on music. Didn't call anyone. Just drove. My phone buzzed. Text from Mom. Then Dad. Then Amy. I didn't read them. By the time I got back to my apartment, it was midnight. I unlocked the door. Dropped my bag. Sat on my second-hand couch in my quiet living room. And I smiled. For the first time in 7 years, I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. 2 weeks later, I got a letter. Handwritten. From my dad. He didn't apologize. Not really. Just said he'd been thinking. That he'd talked to Michael. That maybe they'd been too hard on me over the years. He ended with, "I hope we can move past this. Family is family." I read it twice. Then I put it in a drawer. 3 months after that, Amy called. She'd broken up with her fiancé. Needed a place to stay. Asked if she could crash at my apartment for a few weeks. I said no. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I guess I deserve that." "It's not about what you deserve," I told her. "It's about what I need. And I need space from people who made me feel small." She started to cry. "I'm sorry, Jake. I really am." "I know," I said. "But sorry doesn't erase 7 years." I hung up. A year went by. I moved to a bigger apartment. Got a dog. Started dating someone who actually asked about my work and listened to the answers. Then one afternoon, I got a LinkedIn message. From Michael. The message was long. Rambling. He'd lost his job. Couldn't make rent. Was living with our parents. Wondered if I could help. I stared at the message for a full minute. Then I typed back, "No." Just that. One word. He responded immediately. "Please. I know I messed up. I know I was a jerk. But I'm desperate." I closed the message. Didn't block him. Just closed it. Because the thing about family isn't that they owe you something. It's that you get to choose who deserves your energy. And they didn't. 2 years later, I was at a coffee shop near my office. Working on a new game. Something small. Passion project. I heard someone say my name. I looked up. It was Amy. She looked different. Older. Tired. But also, lighter somehow. "Hey," she said. "Can I sit?" I gestured to the chair. She ordered a coffee. We sat in silence for a minute. "I'm in therapy," she said finally. "Working through some stuff. Family stuff." I nodded. "My therapist asked me to make amends. To people I hurt. You were first on the list." "Okay," I said. "I was jealous," she admitted. "Of you. Your freedom. The fact that you didn't care what anyone thought. I convinced myself you were the problem. That you were selfish. Because it was easier than admitting I was trapped." "Trapped how?" "In their expectations," she said. "Mom and Dad. Michael. Everyone always had an opinion about what I should do, who I should date, what job I should take. And I listened to all of them. Because I thought that's what good daughters do." She wiped her eyes. "But you didn't. You just did your own thing. And they hated it. And I hated that you could do it when I couldn't." I didn't know what to say. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," Amy continued. "I just wanted you to know that I see it now. What they did to you. What I did to you. And I'm sorry." I took a sip of my coffee. "What about them? Mom and Dad? They don't talk about you," she said. "It's like you never existed. They ask about Michael. About me. But your name doesn't come up. And Michael? He's struggling. Working retail. Living in their basement. Still convinced his big break is coming. I should have felt satisfaction. Some kind of vindication. But I didn't feel anything." "Do you hate us?" Amy asked. I thought about it. Really thought about it. "No," I said. "I don't hate you. I just don't think about you anymore." She nodded. Like she understood. "That's probably worse." "Maybe," I agreed. "But it's honest." She finished her coffee. Stood up. "For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I should have said it years ago. But I'm saying it now." I watched her leave. And I realized something. I didn't need them to be proud of me. I didn't need their approval or their apology or their validation. I just needed to keep building the life I wanted. A month later, I got an invitation to speak at a game developers conference. 2,000 attendees. Keynote speech. As I stood on that stage, looking out at the crowd, I thought about that dinner at the resort. The way my dad had raised his glass to Michael. The way I'd finally raised a glass to myself. Someone in the audience asked, "What's the biggest lesson you've learned?" I smiled. That the people who doubt you the loudest are usually the ones struggling the most with their own choices. And you don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them your success. You just owe yourself the freedom to walk away. The room erupted in applause. And for the first time in my life, I didn't wonder if my family was watching. I didn't care. Because I'd built something they could never take away from me. I'd built peace.